Hello and welcome to Scrolling with Ceazor. Today is April 14th, 2026. Okay, so I've got a fair amount of news for you today. I'm taking a look at the charts first though. So here we have ETH is got a nice big green candle yesterday. So yesterday when I first looked at it, it hadn't recovered the red candle from the day before, but as you can see as the day progressed, it did recover that entire candle. It does say it's down a little bit today, but it's looking pretty healthy. The chart is in an uptrend right now. It has kind of bounced off the local top here, but we'll see if it continues to go up. Let's compare it to what we have with Bitcoin. Bitcoin bumped off the same local top as well. Gold, nowhere near any local tops really. I guess you can say this local top over here. And hype has continued to push up and actually through that local top. So things are looking pretty good and so forth. And we'll see what happens. Okay, just stay safe, guys. Make sure you're selling some, take some profits, or at least provide some liquidity in the range in case it does come back down. I don't expect it to just start going parabolic, but it does look pretty healthy and the news is pretty bullish. So let's get into the news. Okay, so as always though, this is not financial advice. This is just my opinions based on some of the tweets I'm seeing. So my first tweet here is Sam from Rise Chain. He's tweeted out, he's like, wow, Ethereum EVM ecosystem just hit 1,000 transactions per second and 1 giga gas. Kind of big, no? And you can kind of look through it, and he's kind of aggregating all of the chains together and all of the TPS of everything that's in the ecosystem and so forth. So it is definitely growing, and that's fantastic. Lots more people using it. You hear FUD on other chains. Recently, I've heard some people talking about the Cosmos and Polkadot and Solana and stuff like that. I do have a tweet today. I think that unless I deleted it, but I'm pretty sure I selected a tweet today to talk about Solana as well. But let's kind of get past that and let's move on. So next tweet we have is Sonic. Sonic is not an EVM chain, but it's pretty aligned with Ethereum, I would say. Anyhow, so there is some increased activity on Solana, and not on Solana, Sonic, and I'm pretty, I wouldn't say super bullish, but I'm pretty hopeful of a Sonic because I still hold significant bags. I think there's I'm 98% invested of my airdrop NFT, and then my season 2 it's like 75 or something like that. So I'm hopeful that those tokens will convert back up into like the dollar range, but like now they're down in like 10 cents. I should probably add a Sonic token chart to my morning. But anyhow, let's move on. So here we have JFab. He's retweeting the Kairos research here. And Kairos research found something significant, and it's pretty scary actually. Like there's a protocol out there called EtherFi. You can get an EtherFi Visa card. It's a liquid staking ETH token. It has some volts and some interest-bearing USDs, and it's a pretty cool stuff. And I like it. You can even deposit like Frax USD on it and hold that as your stablecoin on the platform. Use it for your Visa card and get paid dividends or whatever, interest or yield, however you want to name that, into your Vault card. So it's a significant, useful product, I think, for a lot of people. It's a fantastic way to off-ramp and stuff like that, especially if you're in America, because using US dollars and currency exchange and stuff like that, you don't have to worry about. So anyhow, EtherFi has decided to migrate a lot of their holdings. So like a lot of the tokens, when you were depositing it into this product or this Vault, this credit card thing, right? Then your tokens would be ending up on Scroll, right? And they've decided to migrate it to OP network. And as you can see, the TVL is just insanely low now. Like look at this drop from their migration. It's something like 250, 260 million, 230 million. No, it looks like it was even more than 200 no, I guess it's a minus 230 million. So, and then down to like 30 or 40 million or something like that. It's a pretty significant dump of TVL as they migrate all of their assets from Scroll to OP. Now, I don't exactly know why they decided to do that, but they have decided to do that. So let's take a look a little bit at Kairos research here and just see if there's any significant things that it does say here. So it appears the scroll transaction cost jumped massively as EtherFi began their migration to Optimism. Total transaction fees jumped from base products used 250 days, jumped to roughly 16K a day. So like scroll single sequencer ran reported inflation L1 gas prices and to the L2 Oracle contract with values significantly higher than the Ethereum L1 condition rounds. So that sounds a lot like, oh, you guys are leaving, we're going to jack the prices while you're leaving. And that sounds a lot like that. I don't know, I have to do a little bit more research, but if this is real, like that's pretty crazy that it's like super extractive. It's like, you want to leave, well, we're going to charge you to leave. Like that's basically what that sounds a lot like. I'd like some some clarity on that, but at the same time I don't really hold anything on scrolls, so I'm okay, I guess, right? So let's move on. So ETH Strat says ETH base case is ETH to what is this, $1 million? Yeah hopefully, we can all hope, man. Please ETH Strat. Okay, moving on. So here we have a Near Protocol has retweeted or talked about this. FRX USD, Frax Finance's stablecoin, is now cross-chain stablecoin conversions on Stableflow. So I've never heard of this Stableflow, so I kind of opened it up and I checked it out, and it appears to be just a bridge, but it's pretty significant. Like if you do come over here and you just decide the tokens you want, and you go to Frax, you can see it is on a significant amount of chains already. But I already knew this, but it's nice to see that there is another bridge that's willing to do this. And they do say that like move stablecoins at scale, fast, secure, and built for size. So maybe they have like a clearinghouse type setup where they're willing to hold FRX USD, or instead of having like these kind of bridging where they need deposits. I don't know. I have to look a little bit deeper, but I do think it's just another case of the fact of another protocol, another chain, even the near chain, right, is just adopting Frax FRX USD. And like I said, like Frax's main goal right now is just to increase the utilization of FRX USD and build that footprint massively. And they're doing a great job with it, and I hope it's pretty useful. I think Frax USD is a better choice than USDC for if you want to create a pool in and you want something that's backed by treasury bills and TradFi and compliant and stuff like this. I think Frax USD is a better choice because Frax has a governance token, and they use it to help incentivize partner protocol chains and partner protocol LPs and their own token. So like USDC gives nothing back to the ecosystem. They have their bridge, which is free, but as you can see, there are lots of bridges. There are lots of possibilities to bridge FRX USD to other chains. So I'm really hopeful that FRX USD can take a big share of the USDC DeFi dependence. Okay, I would like to see that happen. But will it happen? We don't know, but I'm hoping it will. Okay, moving on. So here we have Bojam. He's going to talk a little bit about the other sides of the stablecoins, the permissionless, unstoppable, immutable stablecoin called BOLD, BOLD. Again, I've talked about this in just so much that I can't even. I don't even know, obviously you know about it if you've ever listened to my voice, but anyhow, let's take a look at what this says. WSTS borrowers get really cheap loans. For those who use rate delegations are not only protected from redemption, but they get cheap loans too. So if you take a look, currently the interest rate's kind of bouncing around, but it's 0.5, 0.7. Like it's super cheap to borrow a BOLD stablecoin versus WSTETH right now. So I'm currently doing some research on how to migrate from, because I'm using Rocket Pool ETH right now, and it's significantly more expensive. Now it's just because it's the average, like what people are willing to pay. And for some reason, people have brought this interest rate down significantly. So I'm looking at how to migrate with DeFi Saver, and if I figure that out, maybe I'll share it with a tweet or something like that. But yeah, you can save significant amounts if you're using that right now. And obviously, there's nowhere cheaper anywhere in DeFi to use WST ETH as collateral to borrow stablecoins than 0.7 or 0.5 the way it was before. So you can check that out, consider it. Moving on, here you have Ignis DeFi. He's talking about Tron and USDT. So I've been seeing a lot of talk in like Telegram groups and stuff about Tron and the Tron system and stuff like that. But this is pretty interesting. Okay, so what he says, 45% of all circulating USDT supply is on Tron. Yet the Tether app doesn't support Tron, only Ethereum, Plasma, Polygon, and Arbitrum. Now, that's pretty strange to me as well. I feel it's kind of crazy, but I think the case, there could be two possible reasons. Like number one is they want Plasma to maybe vampire attack Tron and take over that, right? That's a possibility, right? The other possibility is because Tron has a unique gas system. So they have to kind of build this app differently in order to integrate Tron, whereas Ethereum, Plasma, Polygon, Arbitrum, they all have the same system. They're all EVM, and they all use the same system to send transactions and stuff like that. So it's probably easier to integrate those chains than it is to kind of add Tron. So maybe Tron's an afterthought. That's what I'm thinking right now. Now, it's not a fantastic app right now. It doesn't give you a lot of opportunities, but it's great to see that they're building something for people to use and stuff. But I'm still going to stick with my general use wallet. Okay, Clouded. Clouded is retweeting Nikita Bier. Nikita is says, this is what he says. He says, crypto has had a rough year. Maybe we should launch something to fix it. Yeah, I agree. But keep in mind, Nikita is a Solana advisor. So there's that, right? But anyhow, so he says X launches an L2, so ETH L2. X becomes a neobank. And every user has an ETH wallet. Thank you. I'd love to see that happen. I think it would be great. I think it would be awesome and pretty cool. And I would love to see that happen. So we'll see if it happens or if it doesn't happen and so forth. So let's kind of move on to ETH strategy. So ETH strategy loves clarity. So what is it? What are they talking about? So there is some clarity out recently. So here we have Ryan Sean Adams is retweeting. The SEC has put out a statement about crypto. There's a lot of confusion in the terminology of this. There's been some TLDR tweets out that kind of scared some people based on the wordings of those tweets, and myself as well. But to kind of read through what Ryan has dropped here can kind of set your mind at ease. So the SEC just gave DeFi a broker exemption. Uniswap UI, MetaMask Swap, DEX aggregators don't need to register as broker dealers. DeFi apps just can't get paid for order flow. Offer investment advice or touch user funds. All fair. Exactly the clarity we needed, the right approach. So yeah, I think that's a pretty way to say it. I'd like a little bit more clarity. I'm going to wait for some of the OGs to come in and give a little bit more clarity, like maybe LexNode or Gabriel. If he comes in and with a nice tweet, I'll read through that and he'll digest this and spit out a little easier to consume a report on this, I assume. But I don't know. We'll see. So for example, Peter, I found this guy the other day, and I love the way he tweets. It's so sarcastic and funny. So he's pretending that he's like the senior staff attorney at the SEC. He likes to pretend he is someone and then speaks as if he is that person, right? So it's quite funny. So there's a few things in here. He's like, I wrote 4. So if I wrote 4 of 12 conditions, and I'm proud of each one. So he's kind of dunking on Trump and stuff like that in here. So he's like, I'm just going to read one of them, and then you can kind of dig a little bit deeper and read all of them and see if this is kind of fun for you. So it says, condition number 1, the interface must be passive. It cannot initiate transactions. It cannot recommend or it cannot advise. It displays a button. The user presses the button. What happens after the button is not the interface's responsibility. The interface that sold 4.3 billion in presidential meme coins to retail investors did not initiate those transactions. The users initiated. The interface was passive. It displayed the price, it displayed the button, it displayed the 96% decline passively. So yeah, he's a good, funny, like jokey, sarcastic tweeter. I enjoy kind of listening to him and reading his tweets and so forth. So this is the last one that I wanted to share, and this is this like Solana guy. Okay, so this is translated from Chinese, so bear with the translation. But there's a few things in here. So he's like, get your money off Radium. That's what he's saying. Okay, so he's basically saying, Radium, the hack that happened recently with Drift is Radium's exposed to it. So their protocol multisig uses Squad v3, a 2 of 3 multisig with an upgradable protocol and no time lock. So basically, if Radium were to, if the hackers that hacked Drift, if they're able to infiltrate Radium in the same way, then they could upgrade all those contracts with no time lock and pull everything from Radium. He's like, in December 22, it was hacked for 4 million due to stolen private key. So they've already been hacked by losing their private key, and they're still like kind of using this vector. They still have this vector open. Now it's easy to not fall for this. It's just like, don't protect your multisig keys, right? And as long as you do that, you're fine. But the fact that Radium is upgradable protocol and doesn't have any time lock on the upgrade, right? That's scary stuff. There's a lot of TVL in those pools, and those pools are considered like providing liquidity to an AMA is considered one of the safest code things, like it in regards to the code, right? You can lose money because assets move different ways, but the code itself has been battle tested galore, and it's considered one of the safest places to deposit assets in regard to smart contract risk. But here they're saying, they have a upgradable code. So the code is not immutable. It's not as safe as Uniswap because a Uniswap is not upgradable. So anyhow, so that's that. So I think that's it for today. I hope this has been interesting and useful, and thank you for listening, and goodbye.